Number 10, a sophomore, Violet. Number 11, a sophomore, Darby Beck. Number 14, a sophomore, Ellie Miller. Number 23, a freshman, Rael Bennett. And number 24, a junior, Peyton Boyd. And now for your Thousand Island Vikings. A sophomore, number 3, Tatum Wiley. A sophomore, number 10, Melanie Wiley. A sophomore, number 11, Grace McDonough. A junior, number 13, Julia Parator. And a senior, number 14, Sayron Rios. Now would everyone please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem by our very own Grace McDonough.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad skies and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the NBC Watertown YouTube channel for girls high school basketball. A little bit of a later start this evening. 7:30 is the opening tip, and we're a few minutes late for that. JV game went long here at Thousand Islands, where the TI Vikings host the Copenhagen Knights. A couple of young teams trying to figure out where they're going to stack up this year. Get ready for the opening tip, and it's pushed forward. Fight for it in the corner. Ball's going to go out of bounds, so Copenhagen will have the first possession of the game as we get set here for high school basketball. Presented as always here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel by the Bob Johnson Auto Group. Connor Lalone alongside Joshua Madison this evening as we get underway with Hallie Miller putting up the first shot for Copenhagen, and it's rebounded by Thousand Islands, Tatum Wiley. And immediately Tatum trying to push the tempo the other way. Gets it right back from Rios. Now fakes the shot. Wiley driving in, pass into the paint. And it's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by TI.
That was a great run there by Mulaney Wiley. Started from the up by the three-point line. Drove to the lane. It was a great look. Just slipped through the hands and went out of bounds.
So Copenhagen. And again, it's Miller with the ball in her hands. Hallie Miller traveled as she came just across the free throw line. So TI back The other way, Mel Wiley turned over though. Miller with the steal, and now Miller up over Mel Wiley. Won't get it to go, and it's rebounded and taken away by Tatum Wiley the other way for the Vikings into the post. Parator gets the roll and gets the first 2 points of the game. Still the full court press from TI. Coach Gosson. And then just hassling the ball carrier, Melanie Wiley. Got a hand on it and deflected it out of bounds. Here's Brielle Tenike trying to inbound for the Knights on the far side. Gets it in with a bounce pass to Miller, who's immediately picked up by Parator. Pass into the post, and the set jumper wouldn't go for Babcock. Miller back. Thought about the free throw line jumper. Now Babcock's going to throw one up. That was deflected. Shot blocked and then out of bounds. McDonough got her hand on it. McDonough, who did a terrific job singing the national anthem for us before we got started here. It's kind of a cool thing to see. Great feed down low. And another couple of points for Julia Parator, 4-0. She's got all 4 of them for TI.
Yeah, and you can hear the head coach for TI celebrating. That was exactly what he had drawn up for that drive.
Copenhagen now trying to answer back. And a pass into the far corner was denied. Steal for Parator. Correct me, that was McDonough who has the ball now. Her pass, now Parator driving through the paint, draws the foul. And the Vikings head to the line for 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, that just shows early on TI showing the advantage of height. Parator very tall in this one, especially compared to the Knights, using that quite often here in the opening few minutes as she nets her first free throw.
Parator 2 of 2 from the line. She's got 6 points. And the Vikings lead by that margin, 6-0. Copenhagen trying to get it inbounds with Tenike and Wilt. Miller lost the handle out of bounds. Turnover forced by the Thousand Islands defense. The full court press.
Yeah, they have really pushed the tempo all night, making quick work of everything. As you see that shot.
Yeah, quick 3 on the inbound was too strong out of the hands of Tatum Wiley, and then a foul is called underneath.
Full drive only lasted 3 seconds for the Vikings there.
Tenike gets it inbounds, able to sneak around and carry the ball up the court was Babcock. Now top of the arc, Tenike harassed by Wiley. Pass away to Vogt on the far side. Now up top, Fitzpatrick. Tenike thought about the shot, will step into one from the free throw line. It's blocked though and taken away by the Vikings. Mel Wiley crossing over Tenike. Wiley into the paint, left hand, won't go. Fight for the rebound. Wiley comes up with it, now dishing back out. Tatum Wiley driving in, that one off a foot, and then back off of Tatum Wiley and out of bounds.
Seems like both teams are struggling early on to keep handle of the basketball.
Right on cue, the ball deflected out of bounds.
And part of that has been because of TI's full court press. It's just suffocated this Copenhagen offense completely. I mean, still 0 points here, already a few minutes in.
Corner 3, Wiley, short, missed everything, rebounded and controlled by Molly Babcock of the Copenhagen Knights. Now Miller. Gets over half court. It's guarded tightly by Rios. Now driving in. Tenike blocked, but foul is whistled on Grace McDonough. Looked like a fairly clean block, but just enough of the body down low. First one in and out from Real Tenai. And as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter, Copenhagen still looking for their first points as the second one rattles out as well. Offensive rebound controlled. Now a three-pointer from the far side. Bounces around the rim and comes out. Team rebound as it's tipped back out to Tenai at the top of the arc. Guarded by Wiley. Pass taken away by Tatum Wiley. And here's Wiley. Up ahead to Wiley. Lays it in with the right hand. 8-0. Timeout. Copenhagen.
If you're Copenhagen right now, what you need is a ladder to go over to that hoop and take the lid off. They are struggling to find something to go through here early on in this first quarter.
Trailing 8-0. Like Josh said, haven't been able to find the bottom of the bucket. And Coach Scott wants to talk things over, make some adjustments, struggling to deal with that full court press. And then when they do get set up, trying to drive to the basket has been futile for them. Just too much size down low for Thousand Islands.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their height has definitely been a key advantage here early on. First for the first 6 points, being there from Parator, and then to use that size to also work for you defensively down in the paint. Gotta wonder if Copenhagen's going to drop something to be more outside the paint, maybe a three or something like that. But you got to get something to fall first.
Inbound pass deflected out of bounds by Rios. Copenhagen will retain possession on the far side, right in front of their own bench. Into the game for the Vikings is Macy Maloney. She's checked in to replace Mel Wiley for the time being. Miller. Pass into the post, just denied. Right into the hands of McDonough. And Tatum Wiley the other way. Her pass taken away. Steal for Copenhagen and trying to push the tempo. Fitzpatrick, great feed underneath. The first 2 points of the game for Copenhagen on the layup for Babcock on the feed from Fitzpatrick.
Sometimes that's what you need, just one bucket to break that lid, and then floodgates may open for you.
Mid-range jumper from Rios, no good. Offensive rebound, Parator, and her shot also no good. Rebounded the second time by Hallie Miller. Miller up the far sideline. Harassed by Rios. Into the post. Fitzpatrick pass down low. Well, had Peyton Vogt underneath. Just too much on the pass, and it goes out of bounds. Another turnover for Copenhagen. Substitution for them. Babcock will check out. Wiley. Rios now into the corner. That's Maloney. Her pass deflected out of bounds by Miller. In for Copenhagen is Caitlin Case. Rios, guarded by Miller, wanted the foul, won't get it. Pass underneath to Parator. A lot of contact there, no whistle. And then losing the handle is Tenai on the far side. Thought we could have seen a couple of whistles there, didn't get any. Copenhagen does eventually turn the ball over.
Refs letting him play early on. I see a little physical early.
Rios driving in against Miller, gets an open look. Took some contact, gets the bucket to fall. And then helped back onto her feet. It's 10-2 with under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Miller gets a screen, hard screen, clean screen. Miller, mid-range jumper, gets it to fall. Wiley, doubled on the near side. Up top for Maloney. Maloney's pass to Rios. Rios driving, dishing back out. Wiley fakes the three, steps into the mid-range shot. That one's short off the iron. Rebounded by Copenhagen. Tenai will control off the feed from Vogt. Now up the far sideline. Brielle's going to be fouled. Tatum Wiley called for the block.
Going for a steal like that, always dangerous, going across the body. A lot of times you're going to get a call for that, especially while on the run. Sometimes you get the ball poked free and it gets let go, but that one just caught a little too much.
Miller draws the foul underneath, and she'll head to the line for the second time. Missed both the first time from the charity stripe, Hallie Miller. Couple of substitutions for Thousand Islands. Mel Wiley's back into the game to replace Rios. As the first from Miller, too strong, off the back iron and out. And also in now for the Vikings, Kenyon Durant, the 8th grade forward. Miller makes the second. Lead down to 5 for TI here with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Wiley up top, Maloney into the corner. Wiley fakes the 3. Melanie Wiley driving in. Floater with the left hand, gets the roll. Shooter's touch for Mel Wiley, 12-5. Tenek bounce pass into the corner, handled well by Case. Foul on the far side.
Almost the exact same play, just trying to reach across the body. That one, pretty easy call there for the refs. And that's actually going to send Copenhagen to the line here in the first quarter. Not what you want to see if you're TI, sending players to the line on a bonus in the first quarter.
Case gets the roll on the first of 2 with Copenhagen in the bonus now. Minute 39 to go in the first quarter. Second no good from Case. Rebounded and controlled by Thousand Islands. McDonough with a board that time after the missed free throw. In and out of the hands of Wiley. Miller comes up with a steal for Copenhagen. Hallie Miller driving into the paint. Shot won't go. Rebound, Durant. Thousand Islands the other way. Wiley over half court. Gets the screen from McDonough. Another screen from McDonough. Durant underneath. Too strong on the shot, but the foul for Thousand Islands. Tatum Wiley with the offensive rebound and the putback. 14-6 now. Under a minute to go. Quarter number 1. Full court press again from Thousand Islands. Case steps back, shot won't go. Rebounded by McDonough. Wiley's pass taken away. Steal for Fitzpatrick, and then another foul on the far sideline as Copenhagen's trying to work their way over half court. I believe that foul was on L. Matthews, who's now into the game for Thousand Islands. Sends Darby Fitzpatrick to the line. First is pure from Fitzpatrick. 14-7. Second won't go. Fight for the rebound underneath. It's a jump ball. Thousand Islands will benefit from the possession arrow.
I actually believe that that's a wrong call because I believe on the jump, on the tip-off, that TI won it, but it went out of bounds.
Wiley with a layup and got it to fall.
That was why Copenhagen had the first possession, but I could be mistaken.
Miller trying to make something happen. 11 seconds to go. She double dribbled as she entered the paint. So now the Vikings can hold for the last shot if they feel so inclined.
They're going to end up losing that one. Another high pass. Wiley just couldn't get a grip. Only 3 seconds here. They got to put up something.
Inbounded to Miller. Miller has some time to heave. Actually overshot the basket, and it goes out of play. 16-7. Thousand Islands with a good high-scoring first quarter, and really stifled Copenhagen defensively for much of that first as well.
Yeah, really just took Copenhagen to get their first one in. And yeah, it took them a while, but once they got that first one in, they've kind of started to find it. They're going to need, obviously, quite a bit more if they want to get back in this thing. But, you know, I mean, not a bad first for either team. Really, if you're Copenhagen, you just got to find the net a little more often, a little bit less of the rim.
So both teams receiving instruction from their head coaches. For Coach Gosson, Thousand Islands, it's more of the same for Copenhagen, as Josh was saying. Let's find the bottom of the basket a few more times here in this second quarter.
Which, I mean, honestly, seems kind of basic when you're playing basketball, is to tell them to score more. But both teams have played good defense. They've done well offensively. It's just being able to actually find the bottom of the basket.
Been plenty of steals, turnovers, blocks. It's been a good defensive basketball game, despite the fact that Thousand Islands scored 16 in the first quarter. Copenhagen will get the ball to start here. Direction from Ryan Gosson, 2-3.
Going from a full court press to a 2-3 zone.
Miller out to the near side, gets it back, guarded by Rios, who's back into the game for Thousand Islands. Able to get the defender to jump with a pump was Babcock, but couldn't get the shot to go. Durant with a rebound, and Thousand Islands the other way. Rios, pass too tall for Melanie Wiley, and it's out of bounds. Copenhagen basketball down to our right-hand side. They run the play for Miller, and she gets open. Copenhagen trying to go up that far sideline. They do. Cutting into the paint. Shot won't go for Vogt, but she draws the foul and heads to the line for 2 shots. One thing Copenhagen has done really well offensively is get to the line. Drawn fouls. Got into the bonus in the first quarter. Peyton Vogt at the line for 2. First misses off to the left side. Second one missed to the right.
Yeah, I mean, you were right. I mean, they do a good job at getting to the line. Their struggle right now is hitting shots from the line. They're right now 2 for 8 at the free throw line. And when you get a free throw or from the charity stripe, you got to make more than what you miss, or at least get half. It's been a big issue right now, and one of the reasons why the score looks the way it does.
Mid-range jumper for McDonough, no good. Offensive rebound, though, Rios on the near side gets the screen for Parator, who's back in for Thousand Islands. Wiley back out. Short on the three-pointer. Offensive rebound, Wiley. No whistles underneath as the second chance shot was blocked. And then a foul was called underneath against Melanie Wiley. Hard inbound pass for Molly Babcock, and now Babcock is tied up on the far side.
That one will be called a jump ball. But that will stay with Copenhagen, which is odd since they started the period with the ball. But
Babcock on the far sideline. All the way around to Tenike. Harassed. Shot clock down to 10. Loose ball out of bounds. Copenhagen will keep it. 7 remaining on the shot clock with 6:28 to go in quarter number 2. Tenike. Shot fake from Babcock, and then Copenhagen able to rattle one in. 16-10 now. Wiley fakes the 3, gets the screen, steps into the mid-range shot. That won't go. Parator offensive rebound, able to dish it out for Wiley. And Mel makes the mid-ranger after Tatum missed hers. 18-10. Miller. Full court press is back from Thousand Islands. Miller's pass. It's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by Thousand Islands. Copenhagen will keep possession. Ollie Babcock took a pretty good shot there for Copenhagen. Tenike. Miller. Shot blocked by Rios. Miller gets her own rebound around the screen. Long 3. That one too strong. Out of the hands of Babcock. Vikings the other way. Wiley picked up her dribble. Pass too tall. Out of bounds on the far side. A couple of times we've seen that here in the second quarter. Just unable to connect on relatively short range passes, T.I. Tenike. This one might work out for Copenhagen. A little unorthodox, but reeled in by Vogt. Now into the corner for Miller from 3. That one's short. Rios with a rebound.
that pass can be the danger of having a full court press. You just have no one back there to pick that up.
Turnaround shot blocked for McDonough. Copenhagen the other way. Tenike guarded by Wiley. Into the post. Vogt. Floater with a right hand. Missed everything. And out of bounds. Wiley picked up by Tenike at half court. Rios up top. Lost the handle. Still fighting for it. And then foul is whistled. There was pretty good confusion there about who that was going to go against. Foul is whistled against Tenike. And Thousand Islands will keep possession. Inbound Parator. A lot of contact. No whistles. Copenhagen ends up with a loose ball. Hallie Miller. Miller. Her pass deflected out of bounds. It's been chaotic, disjointed basketball for the last couple of minutes here.
It's also been that kind of a quarter for TI. Just good defense, but they're hitting it out of bounds, which keeps it in the hands of Copenhagen every time.
Miller into the corner. Tenike steps into a mid-range shot, had it blocked, out of bounds. Who touched it last? Copenhagen. Well, they seem insistent to try to get inside, and it just has not worked for them. TI with a massive height advantage.
TI is more than willing to let them inside with their height, because they know once they're inside, they are not getting a good shot up without it being blocked.
Durant back into the game, replacing Grace McDonough for Thousand Islands. Here's Tatum Wiley, top of the arc. Now Mel driving in. Tatum, long two, rattles around and out from Maloney. Offensive rebound though, Thousand Islands. Tatum Wiley, mid-range shot. That one rattles in, and it's 20-10. 3:20 to go in the first half. Thousand
TI
Islands
goes back to that 2-3 zone that we saw earlier.
right on cue. You saw the same thing I did, Josh. And now trying to trap in the corner, Parator. Timeout, Coach Scott. So Copenhagen, they're avoiding the turnover. They'll have 15 seconds on the shot clock out of the timeout. For Copenhagen, it's just been a question of can they create offensively a look that doesn't revolve around getting the basketball inside, because that just hasn't worked. If they could get Miller or Babcock open from outside, give them a chance to get back into this game. They'll see if they can do something here offensively. It is Miller. Shot clock down to 5 for Copenhagen. Miller, mid-range shot. That one won't go. And then rebounded by TI. Taken away by Parator. Up the near side, Maloney. Lost the handle. Taken away. Miller with the steal. Good screen from Vogt. Frees up Miller to get over half court. Now Vogt top of the arc. Bounce pass to Miller is out of bounds. Tough pass to handle for Miller. Parator out. And McDonough in for Thousand Islands with 2:25 to go in the first half. Wiley. Now out to the far side. Tatum Wiley picked up her dribble. Now Maloney, top of the arc. Maloney. Miller got a hand on it, and then jump ball. Thousand Islands ball. Over in front of the Copenhagen bench. Wiley. Thrown behind Maloney, taken away by Ten Eyck. Ten Eyck had Miller's going to take it herself, won't get it to go. Gets her own rebound, though. Then cutting back to the basket. Good move to get open, just can't get the shot to go. Durant comes up with a loose ball and can't connect with Maloney.
Seems like it's chaos every time it gets inside the paint for both teams.
Inbound play and a solid mid-range jumper for Darby Fitzpatrick. First points we've seen in a while, 20-12. Fitzpatrick now against Wiley. Up top, Tatum fakes the three. Draws the contact, but doesn't get the whistle. Shot won't go. Fitzpatrick with the rebound for Copenhagen, and now Darby up the far sideline. Over half court, dishing back out. Ten Eyck. Pass to Vogt, and Vogt is calling for the travel on the far side. Wiley. Rios in the corner now, back up for Wiley. Wiley off the screen from Rios. Mid-range jumper is pure, 22-12. Inbound pass deflected by Tatum Wiley. Out of bounds. Copenhagen keeps the basketball on the far side. Seems like the game is kind of hung around that 10-point margin. That's what it is right now. 22-12. Under a minute to go in the first half. Mid-range shot and a shooter's touch for Caitlin Case on the mid-range jumper. Wiley to Rios up top. Into the post. McDonough falls to Durant. Mid-range shot won't go off the glass. Rebounded by Hallie Miller, and Miller takes it the other way. Miller pass to Ten Eyck underneath. Shot won't go. Rebounds Durant. Shot clock turned off now. With 23 to go. Wiley driving to the paint. Good move to get to the left side and lays it in. Miller trying to get around Rios. Ten Eyck will. Vogt. Mid-range shot blocked. Ball's going to go out of play with 2.1 to go. Copenhagen will keep it, trailing by 10. Ten Eyck. Miller underneath. Doesn't get the roll. And that pretty much sums up that first half of basketball for Copenhagen. Getting good looks and just not getting the rolls. They trail by 10. 24-14 here. Thousand Islands with the lead at halftime on their home court. Take a look at the unofficial stats from Zach Zubrisky. Tatum Wiley leading the way, tied with Mel with 8 points. Hallie Miller with 6 to lead all Copenhagen scorers. And just plenty of players getting involved with steals and blocks all over the stat sheet.
One of the reasons that TI is winning by the margin that they are is the rebound numbers. I mean, there are 2 girls from TI, both at 4 rebounds themselves, and then 3 others with 3 rebounds. Copenhagen, if they're going to get back in this thing, they're going to need some more rebounds, especially with how unlucky they have been with their shots. It hasn't been bad shots. It's just been unlucky. Like you said, just rolling in and out.
Really little surprised that TI has dominated the glass in that first half. Just a tremendous size advantage. Durant and Wiley with 4. Rios, Parator, Wiley, Tatum Wiley, that is, with 3 apiece. McDonough with 1. They've been getting it done on the glass in the first half. That's contributed to their lead, along with some terrific interior defense. And it's a 10-point lead for the Vikings at halftime over the visiting Copenhagen Knights on high school basketball, presented by Bob Johnson here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. We'd also like to thank our friends at Swish 365 for their support of high school basketball this winter. It's a 10-point lead for the Vikings at halftime. As we'll take a break, Cody Wheeler, Zach Zubrisky, Morgan Young, Josh Madison, and myself, Connor Lalone, will be back in about 8 minutes for the start of the second half. Thousand Islands versus Copenhagen on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. Welcome back to high school basketball on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. It's a girls matchup in Thousand Islands as the Vikings host Copenhagen. And immediately, right back to the action. It's a hard foul underneath. That sends Copenhagen to the line. They did that a lot in the first half of basketball. Didn't always take advantage when they got there. One of the things that they'll work to change here in the second. Tenike gets the roll. Second one short, rebounded by Melanie Wiley. Fouls on Seyron Rios, who actually took more of the contact from that one. This one's turned over by Tatum Wiley. Steal for Molly Babcock. Copenhagen the other way. Fitzpatrick, pass down low, taken away, stolen by Grace McDonough. Here's Thousand Islands the other way. Wiley. For Copenhagen. Pass nearly jumped by Wiley. Tenike thought about the mid-range. Pass down low, stolen. Majority of that first, Josh.
Yeah, and I mean, same with the steals too. We saw a bunch of steals in the first half, and in this first minute here in the second, almost the exact same. Has been stellar to say the least.
Being blocked. Inbound pass. Got away from Vogt, but Miller comes up with it. Now thrown waywardly. And again, Copenhagen able to keep the basketball. Now a jump ball underneath. And this time it is a jump ball, and it is Viking basketball. Wiley, picked up by Tenike. Out to Rios. Parator, passing to the post. Dishing back out. Wiley with a long two. And Melanie Wiley adds two more to the Thousand Islands tally. 26-15 now. And again, they bring out that full court press, which they used for the majority of the first quarter. And then at times in the second, switching to a 2-3 zone, but really still favoring that press. Pass was tipped over half court. Miller can't control the ball. It's taken away by McDonough. Another steal for the Vikings. Wiley. Up top, Parator all the way out to the far side for Melanie Wiley. Rios. Parator on the near side now. Pass into the post. Turning, spinning McDonough. Shot won't go. Rebounded by Copenhagen. Good work on the defensive glass for Molly Babcock. Pass down low from Miller. Finds its way to Babcock. Shot was altered. Won't go. And then out of bounds last touch by Molly Babcock. Thousand Islands basketball down to our right-hand side.
A lot going on for both teams here early on. Just trying to find some footing and maybe an easier drive offensively. Almost as I say that.
Ball taken away. Miller comes up with it. Trying to slow things down maybe for Copenhagen here. Both teams, I think, could benefit from that. The other way in transition and one. Count it. And she was bumped underneath on a fast break layup. Foul on Peyton Vogt. First foul against Copenhagen here in the second half. Wiley misses the free throw, but a lane violation. She'll try it again. Wiley good this time, so bit of an unorthodox way to complete the three-point play, but she does. 29-15. Copenhagen called for the 5 seconds, can't get the ball inbounds.
And that's just showing the power of this defense from TI. I mean, even from out of bounds, Copenhagen has struggled.
Wiley out to the far side. Tatum fakes the shot. McDonough's shot blocked, came right back to her, and then taken away right out of the hands. Rael Tenike with the steal. Tenike picked up her dribble. Wiley all over her. Gets it away. Out to the near side. And Copenhagen able to turn it in for 2. 29-17.
The bank is open with that shot. Went straight for the backboard with that shot.
Wiley, great feed underneath to find McDonough. They answer right back. Miller gets it around Wiley. Pass underneath, deflected by Parator and out of bounds. Just no easy passes for Copenhagen. Thousand Islands in every single passing lane all the time.
And even when they're not, they're just so tall. They just get in there with such quickness.
Jump ball on the near side. Copenhagen keeps possession. Miller. Fitzpatrick. Tenike. Shot off the side of the backboard. Rebounded by Melanie Wiley. Wiley has Rios. Takes it herself from the left side. Copenhagen again struggling to get anyone open on the inbound play, and again Coach Natalie Scott calls timeout. They set that play up on the inbound, set 2 screens at the free throw line to try to get Hallie Miller open. And that time it didn't work, and they elect to use the timeout to avoid another 5-second call.
Seemed like they had something there in the first half that worked. Even with the full court press, they could at least get it to the other half of the court and get something. If with this timeout, I feel like they may want to try and find that again. Just find that play that they used to just get the ball in and get the ball moving.
Well, it felt for a large part of that first half that the game kind of hung around that 8 to 10 point margin. Copenhagen starting to slip a little bit further here. 33-17 now.
Just like that, now TI moving back to the 2-3 zone. We saw that a little bit in the second quarter. We're kind of off and on with it. They go back to it here.
They come up with a steal. Parator. You just wonder if that's something Coach Gosson is still working on, maybe with his Thousand Islands team.
Yeah.
Just testing it out at different times, different points in the game.
Yeah, something you want to work on, and something you don't really want to work on when the game gets too close. Right now they have a decent lead. Obviously the game's not over, but this is a good time to kind of use it and just kind of have it for when, you know, maybe later on in the season you can just kind of pull that out whenever, even when it's a close game or not.
Chance to add on to that lead. 2 shots coming up for Kenyon Starant. Too strong on the first. Starant drew the foul with a good move underneath. Second one no good either, and then out of bounds, last touch by Copenhagen. Jolena Eisel into the game. Pass into the corner. Tatum Wiley was wide open, just couldn't handle the feed from Macy Maloney. Here's the press right back from Ryan Gosson in this TI defense, and again, they force the turnover. Durant in the post, dishing out. Rios, now Wiley, off the screen for Maloney. Back to Wiley in the post.
That's a
Offensive 3-second call.
Yeah, you don't see that very often in high school. Sometimes some players will get away with it.
Copenhagen has to advance the ball over half court, and they do. Tenike dishing out. Case thought about the three. Instead, it's Miller from the near corner. And rebounded by Rios, taking it the other way. Seyron Rios. Out to Wiley. Maloney. Now Tatum Wiley, long two. Off the glass, no good. Fight for the rebound, comes out to Rios. Rios. Hard battle in the corner. Rios in frustration, kind of just slammed the ball down. Thousand Islands keeps possession. That one too tall for Durant. And then Rios with a mid-range jumper.
Yeah, you can see Rios. We've seen it a couple times where she gets a bit frustrated sometimes on a call she wished she got.
Fitzpatrick taken away. Julia Parator with a steal. Foul whistled. And that one's going to go against Fitzpatrick. Rios out of the game. Replaced by L. Matthews. Wiley. Lost the handle. Able to get it back out to the near side. Parator. Now Durant, mid-range jumper. Off the glass. No good. Rebounded. Eisel able to take it away. Pass too tall for Miller and out of bounds on the near side.
One thing I do want to point out there on that TI drive, Matthews with a very strong screen at the top of the key. We've seen a lot of screens, but that one knocked the defender back a little bit.
Wiley off the screen. Poked free. Maloney able to corral it. Parator, loose ball again. Ball comes out though, and then timeout called by Thousand Islands there.
They still got 13 seconds to shoot, so you're not really in panic mode yet to throw up a shot, but right now it was just trying to calm the players down. A lot of the loose ball that we've seen a little bit here and there from, well, both teams. But this one just to draw something up here for these 13 seconds and get up a shot. Possibly looking for a 2-for-1 here just to get a shot and then hopefully hold Copenhagen off so that you get the final drive on your next time down the floor. But Copenhagen's going to need something here quick to get themselves back in this before they let it slip a little too far away from them. Already down now 18 points. Trying to find something here in the last minute of the third quarter.
Coach Scott in Copenhagen using the entirety of that timeout, milking it for all the time they could. It's been a hard physical game. It's taken a lot out of both of these teams. Durant, great move to get around and into the post to lay it up with the right hand. Babcock up the court for Copenhagen. Lost the handle. Works out to Ten Eyck. She loses the ball, gets it right back, gets it back again. Now out. Case dishes it back off to Babcock. Now Ten Eyck draws the foul underneath. The shot clock was down to 5. Turned off now for the remainder of the third quarter. 20.2 on the clock as Brielle Ten Eyck heads to the line for 2 shots. Short on the first. Too strong on the second. Offensive rebound, though, corralled by Eisel. Dish back out. Miller, open look. Short off the front iron, rebounded by Thousand Islands. It was McDonough in there on the defensive glass. Wiley, 2 seconds left. McDonough won't get a good look off, but it's a 20-point lead for Thousand Islands, trying to open this one up, and they have at the end of the third quarter. Really just a lot of the same things we saw in the first half. Stifling defense inside from the Vikings and ability to take the ball away, come up with steals and force turnovers. Copenhagen have not been able to convert at the offensive end of the court with really any frequency.
Yeah, if you're Copenhagen, you don't have a lot of time left to answer. So if you're going to answer, it has to be now, let alone with it being just the fourth quarter. But also, this is a steep deficit that they're in right now, and they haven't really found any groove offensively. So they're going to need to put a full quarter together here and get some points up. TI, it's more just holding them off for as long as you can and close this one out.
It'll be their basketball down in front of us as we start the fourth quarter. High school basketball presented all season long by the Bob Johnson Auto Group here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. Girls matchup between TI and Copenhagen. Our first time in this gymnasium, Thousand Islands. Pretty nice setup for us here, and certainly very accommodating. Scott Lalone and the TI staff, just appreciate them willing to have us here, and we're glad to be here. Copenhagen trying to fight for the loose ball underneath after the mid-range jumper was too strong from Caitlin Case. It is a jump ball underneath, and it will be Copenhagen basketball down to our right-hand side. Ten Eyck had Miller flashing through the paint. Instead, out to the far sideline. The jumper from Eisel, no good. And Durant comes away with the rebound. One of many on the defensive glass for Thousand Islands tonight. Offensive foul. Josh alluded to it earlier. Al Matthews said a really strong screen in that third quarter gets called for the illegal screen here in the fourth. 7:10 to go in the game.
Yeah, and sometimes when you get a good screen, it's when a player comes running into you. What she's been doing a little bit is more leaning into the player. At least she did, especially on that one and the one that I mentioned before.
Case inbound. It's Molly Babcock. Her pass into Ten Eyck. Ten Eyck gets a good look. And she's able to get to the right side. Lays it in with the right hand. Wiley. Melanie Wiley bounce pass to Durant. Close jumper. Say jumper, I'm not sure her feet left the ground. Didn't need to, the height advantage down low. Miller into the near corner. Eisel. Back out, Miller from three. That one off to the right-hand side. Offensive rebound, though. Good work on the offensive glass for Case. And a foul underneath. Parator in for Durant. And Rios in for Matthews for the Vikings. Miller off the inbound pass, driving in, dishing back. Mid-range jumper won't go for Babcock. Rebounded by Julia Parator, fresh off the bench. 6 minutes to go. Lead back to 20 for Thousand Islands. Parator in the corner. Up top for Rios. Rios, long skip pass. Wiley with the three. That one's short. Rebounded by Copenhagen, Molly Babcock.
And that's one thing that TI has struggled with in this one is that three ball. Just haven't quite found the jumper needed.
Haven't needed it. Mid-range shot from Miller. Wouldn't go. That's a tough shot. Moving and then stepping back. Didn't get the roll. Now guarding Rios. Shot off the bottom of the backboard. And Rios with the steal, turning, throws one up, draws the foul. Doesn't get the shot to go, but it's two coming up for Rios at the line. Tatum Wiley back in, replacing Macy Maloney. All the way around the rim and down for Rios on the first. Makes the second as well. 41-19. Biggest lead of the game for Thousand Islands. Tonight, skip pass, mid-range jumper. Too strong. Rebound Wiley. Thousand Islands the other way. Off the miss from Case. Parator in the post. Tried to drive. Lost the handle. Taken away. Here's Miller up the near side. Hallie Miller against Melanie Wiley. Steps back into a long two off the glass. And the ball bouncing around underneath. I believe they're going to say that Eisel was out of bounds there.
I believe it was her left hand. She had her right hand on the ball, and I believe her left hand was on that line. Not an easy call to make, but ref was in the perfect position to catch that and make the call.
Wiley to Rios on the far side. Picked up there by Case. Miller nearly came up with it. Wiley from the near corner. Still can't get one to go from deep. And then a rebound by Caitlin Case. Foul on Parator. Darby Fitzpatrick in for Copenhagen with 4:20 to go. Miller gets around Wiley. Shot blocked though, Parator. Offensive rebound Copenhagen, and it's turned in.
Almost looked intentional for how well that worked out for her. Right into the hands.
Wiley driving into the paint, turned it over, threw it right to Molly Babcock. Miller taken out of her hands by Rios. Rios driving in, dishing back out. Wiley finds Wiley. Mid-range shot won't go. Rebounded by Babcock again for Copenhagen. Darby Fitzpatrick over half court. Gets the screen from Vogt. Fitzpatrick off her own foot and out of bounds. Came off of somebody in a white shirt. Copenhagen will keep it. Durant back in now, replacing Parator. Gets a good round of applause.
Parator's had a great game. Hasn't put much up on the scoreboard since the first 6 were all her, but since then it's been a lot of blocks and rebounds for her.
Foul underneath on McDonough. And the first from the line, good for Babcock. One more coming up. Babcock 2 of 2 from the line, 41-23. 3:10 remaining in the fourth quarter from Thousand Islands. Wiley driving in, draws the foul. I believe that one's going to go on Molly Babcock. First free throw short from Wiley. Second one off the front iron, off the back iron, off the front again and in. Wiley 1 of 2 from the line that time, 42-23. Fitzpatrick lost the handle. Wiley came up with it on the near side. Now Wiley, bounce pass for Rios, wasn't expecting it. Works out, came out to Durant, shot off the glass, won't go, but it again works its way to Thousand Islands. Wiley. Tatum Wiley off the screen for McDonough. Now Melanie, mid-range shot won't go. Miller with the rebound for Copenhagen. And Hallie Miller pushes it the other way. Miller steps into one. Still can't get one from downtown either. An offensive rebound for Babcock. And her second chance opportunity no good as well.
One thing that I've noticed from both of these teams is even when they miss a shot, when the other team gets a steal or whatever, neither one of these teams hang their heads or just get upset. They're right back in it. They're hustling down the court and trying to force that next turnover.
Peyton Vogt nearly came up with one there, deflected the ball out of play.
Showing a great hustle from both of these teams on the defensive end. It's one of the reasons why both defenses have done a really good job in this one.
Wiley gets it right back, lost the handle. Controlled up top by Maloney. 4 on the shot clock. They won't get one off. It's stolen. Miller the other way. Lays it up anyway, even though the clock went off. Looked for a second like she was going to pull up there, but took it right to the basket. Gets 2 points in transition. Again, stolen by Copenhagen. This time it's Darby Fitzpatrick, and Fitzpatrick draws the foul. Count it, and 1.
Seems like a little bit of life here for Copenhagen, but it might be just a bit too late. It's only a minute and a half to go. They'll certainly take any points they can. Hopefully take this momentum into their next game.
Fitzpatrick converts the and 1. And it's exactly that, Josh. It's one of those where obviously both of these teams are really young. It's Durant underneath. Shot off the side of the backboard, won't go.
Yeah, and if you want to speak about young, you speak about Durant, 8th grader, playing up here on varsity and doing stuff like that.
Coming up with a block on the defensive end. Miller came up with a steal, but the timeout was called before that. So timeout Ryan Gosson, Thousand Islands. But both of these teams are obviously really young. Copenhagen has lost a couple of really good players in the last couple of years to just graduations, the nature of high school sports. And so it's kind of a rebuilding year or two here for both of these teams. And Copenhagen, like you said, just will take what they've been able to accomplish here the last couple of minutes of this fourth quarter, put together some steals, and turned it into transition opportunities for them. It's, I think, going to be that kind of year for Natalie Scott and Copenhagen. Just what can we build on? How can we get better every game and let the results be what they will, as long as they're playing their game and learning their system, and kids out on the court are getting the experience and opportunities. It's, I think, what the expectation is in Copenhagen this year. And Thousand Islands in a similar boat, maybe just a little bit further along.
Yeah, I mean, for Thousand Islands, one of the reasons that's it's going to make them a strong force is their height. They have a lot of tall players.
Another turnover for Copenhagen, and Miller in transition able to lay it in for two more. Yeah, that has been the difference in this game. Absolutely, because the intensity has been matched by Copenhagen. They've been just as intense on the defensive end and have gotten hands on passes and have created turnovers. It's just been the glass where they've struggled, and it's really due to no lack of effort as Durant throws one off the glass, won't get it to go. It's just been a lack of size. They haven't quite been able to compete with Durant and McDonough, both Wileys. Parator underneath. Two more for Copenhagen. They cut it back down to 10. Well, Durant in transition. Doesn't get the roll. Copenhagen here with a chance to cut it back down under 10, and they do. An 8-point lead for Thousand Islands with 7 seconds to go. Miller, in and out from Hallie Miller. The ball out of play with 1.9. They'll keep the basketball here.
And if this was the third quarter, we'd be getting very excited for the fourth, but unfortunately for Copenhagen, it's the wrong quarter. And the buzzer is going to sound here and end this one. And, I mean, a great way to finish if you're Copenhagen. That's exactly what you want. You walk away with a bunch of momentum to carry into your next game. And, yeah, I mean, the entire first half was about like this, keeping it within 10 and 8. TI pulled away there for a bit, but nice job by Copenhagen to bring it back within 8 there for the end.
So Copenhagen with a late push gets it down to 8, and that's the final margin as they fall 42-34 here against the Thousand Islands Vikings. Thousand Islands improves the 2-0 on the year. They had a game canceled earlier in the week. Copenhagen falls to 0-2 in a rebuild year for Coach Scott and the Knights. Coming up next week here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel, we're at Beaver River twice. First on Tuesday as the girls take on Alexandria. Then on Wednesday, Copenhagen at Sackett's in a boys Class D matchup. And then on Friday evening, back in Beaver River as the boys host Belleville Henderson. That's what's coming up here for us at NBC Watertown on high school basketball, presented by the Bob Johnson Auto Group, as well as our friends over at Swish 365. For our whole crew tonight, Cody Wheeler, Morgan Young, Zach Zabriskie, and my commentary partner, Joshua Madison. My name's Connor Lalone. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy your weekend. And we also hope we'll catch you next week, one of those 3 games, maybe all 3 of them, who knows? Maybe you just love us that much that you'll come watch us. Either way, have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.